All right, so we know already. You guys are familiar with fireworks already, um, and we are going to pick up from where we started last week, left off yesterday rather, by creating a new canvas. As I was reiterating, and you may have wondered why I spent so much time to reiterate it yesterday. It's very important that we start a new page with the right size. Because if you start it with the wrong size, you're going to be chaotic in the future. I made that mistake for a long time when I started graphic design until I found out what I was doing wrong. So of course, you design everything and it look pretty on the screen, but by the time you print it, it look like junk. And it was off and all of those stuff. So um, what I went through yesterday and yesterday evening is what took me probably months to discover when I was just starting out. So you're at an advantage. All right, so I'm gonna start a new graphic. I remember when we were looking at the aspect ratio yesterday, we were saying that it's not so much the size but the shape. You remember? If you remember, say amen or
Yes,
yes
sir.
sir. All right, just let me know you're here. All right, so if you look at my screen here, look at two things on my screen. If you look at all of these open recent items, under open recent items, almost all of these are let me look. I have different types of things that I use fireworks. So if you look right here, you see letterhead one. Now letterhead obviously is something that you print. So if you look at the settings that I have in fireworks, it's the width 8.5, height 11, and resolution 200. And the units are in inches. Um, so so the reason why I have these settings is because I was designing something for print. If you look at my paper here, so a sheet of paper is let me position this better. A blank sheet is 8.5 inches wide and 11 inches high, right? And the resolution is a high resolution because for print you need at least 150 um, DPI or dots per inch or pixels per inch, but up to about 300. But when you're dealing with monitors now, or monitors or phones, it can go as low as 72, right? And the units can be in inches. It has to be in pixels because inches too big. All right, so I'm gonna change my units to pixels. Maybe you guys never have to change it at all in the future. So I'm gonna have the width 920 and 120 pixels by 1080. All right, because and as we said yesterday, this is called a 1080p or some 1080p or HD. Okay. All right, so this is my canvas. If you notice, the canvas has a checker on the background because if you look down at the bottom part here, um, let me look if this thing have no annotation on it. Markham annotation. If you look at the bottom, you notice that the canvas doesn't have any fill. All right. Oh, searching for something. Can't find it. It's alright, not wasting any time on it. If you look at the bottom here, down at the bottom, you notice that the canvas has a red line through it, which means that there's no fill. All right. In other words, it's transparent. And whenever you have transparent objects, that's where you have a checker, the gray and white checker. So if I change the background, if I click on canvas and I want it to have a white canvas, then I select white. And if you notice the change, all right, there's no white. And if you notice, there's no red X through the canvas. And we have a clear canvas to work on. Um, we know that anything that we design on this canvas is going to we'll be able to use it directly onto our videos because it's the right aspect ratio. Not so much the right size, but right aspect ratio. All right, so I'm gonna quickly do something called a lower third. If you want to know what a lower third is, lower third, a lower third is something. Let me get a good decent picture. A lower third is the thing at the bottom of the screen that has a caption. Can't find it. Oh, say one here. All right. So this is what a lower third is. A lower third is the caption that's at the bottom of the screen. And the reason why they call it lower third is because one is lower, so it's lower down. And usually it's a third of the screen. So if we should design the screen, if we should design the screen in three, let me just bring up something so I can illustrate better. If we should design it, if we should draw lines through this, and I'm using this section. I'm gonna highlight where I'm using. I'm using this section, right? So that's, I'm gonna put some color on it. So you know exactly where I'm talking. You know what? Let me crop it. Crop the whole thing. All right, so this is what we're dealing with. All right, if we should divide this by 3, that's what they call lower thirds. Obviously, it can be any size, so it's not exactly a third. All right, but that's why they call it a lower third. Looking at this, videos with lower thirds actually look more professional, and it's better aesthetically than just having a plain video. Because in the lower third you get to put different sort of information, like this person, Jane Doe, and Jane Doe's title here and the logo. So you have the logo over here, logo here. You have the name right here, and you have the something about the person right here. And of course you have the main subject right here. If you only had the main subject, it would look kind of boring. If you only had the subject alone. Hold on, let me select my subject. If you only had the subject alone, I'm trying to recreate just having the subject alone. If I didn't have anything and I only had Jane Doe there, it would look kind of, in my opinion, boring. Because you're looking at the screen, suppose somebody watching a video and I care how short the video is, and the person just look at the video for a split second and they don't see anything except somebody talking. They don't know what it's about. You guys understand?
Yes, sir.
However, if I should have put a lower third on this, so this is her by herself, Jane Doe, right? And she's talking. We don't know what she's talking about. But as simple as it is, if I should put on a little lower third, create a graphic down here. And I'm moving a bit fast. I'm not describing the tools because we had gone through the math length at one time. So, or maybe I should because I'm recording for Johnny's sake. All right. So if I should have even a little box down here, let me change the color, the fill color down here. Let me change it to white. Let me put a little opacity on it. It's at 100%. Let me change it to 90. So you can at least see a bit through her. And let me put over here the shape, the vector tools. When I hold on it, I get to select different shapes. I'm gonna select the ellipse tool. All right, I'm holding on the shift key and I'm moving. The reason why I hold on the shift key is to get a perfect shape, a perfect circle. If I didn't hold on the shift key, I would get something else, which sometimes I want, but in this case, I want a circle. All right, so let me delete that. So I put a little circle here. I didn't have to, but I chose, all right? And put your name. So deal with the circle. Jane Doe. Change the font. Go down at the bottom here. This is the properties panel. So almost everything you need is in the properties panel. And I change the font to probably stencil, Jane Doe, or probably something more formal, Arial block. Take off the italics off it. Change the color to black or red. All right, bring it down a little. Red probably is not best. Let me use something as standard as black. And then she is chemistry teacher. If you notice, I click on the, and if you have any question at all, ask me. All right, and then I have I click on the font, the text tool over to the left to get text. Click on the canvas anywhere, and she is our physics teacher. Hope I spell it right. Physics teacher. Just to pause here and this and explain again for the sake of both you and Johnny. There there are three main areas, four main areas you're looking at here. First, you're looking at the main area, the main screen area that I call the canvas. All right, this area is a canvas. Just like painting, it gets its name from like a persons who used to paint. And you know, you start with a canvas. That's the thing that they paint on. Over to the extreme left, you have the main toolbar. All the tools are here that you need, and most of the tools rather are over here. If you look at the top, you guys want to have this toolbar up at the top. I included this toolbar, but if you want this toolbar, I think it's in Windows, in Window and Toolbars, right? If I didn't want main, for example, I could uncheck main. I use the main disappear up at the top. Just look at the top up here. Toolbars modify. All right, but I want them, so I'll go in toolbars, main, window, toolbars, modify. And of course, there are other toolbars there, a whole heap of other toolbars. Most of them I don't usually use. All right, modify. Sometimes the tools can be down here. You can take it and drag it down here, I think. Some are down here and not fitting. Anyway, mine are up here. So these are the main toolbars over to the left. Down at the bottom, you have properties, and the properties can be collapsed if you want more space on the canvas. You can just click the word properties on the collapse if you want more space. I have a big monitor, so I have a lot of space. But usually when you're working on a laptop, you want more space, right? And then over to the right now, you have a number of other toolbars, but the main toolbar that's over here is my layers toolbar. If you notice, everything I create is on a different line or a different layer. So a while ago, when I marked up the screen, you notice that I was able to hide some of them. If I wanted the markings, I would put back the eyes. So if I put the eye beside that come up, all right. So, but I don't want those. That's why I hide them. The reason why I hide them, I don't want to delete them, and suppose I want them to come back again. I have to recreate them. So instead of deleting them, I just instead of deleting them, I just hide them. And after I finish, then I delete whatever is extra, and I keep what needs to be kept. Or sometimes I hide something so for different reasons, and I want to use them again. But then I'm gonna go back to the lower third. So down here, let me put this in a different font. Put this in a different font. That's area blocks. I use area. And the objective is not to put something fancy, but to put something that people can read. Because at the end of the day, if something is fancy and illegible, which is you can't easily read it, persons are not going to be informed. And the reason why you're doing this thing is to inform persons. You're doing a video is always changing. So you want the video to inform persons, right? So it's not to the objective is to put clear fonts when you're doing your videos because you want somebody to glance on it for the 1 or 2 seconds that's on the screen and get it instead of having to look and wonder with the twirly what's that really what is really on the screen. For example, I could put something called Balmoral. Let me look if I have Balmoral lit on it. Balmoral, I don't have that. Or handwriting. Look for one of them funny writings. And of course, people design different font faces for different reasons. All right. If I put even this, even though this is not so fancy, but if I put this as physics teacher, I don't know about you, but it's not very clear. Right? You guys are with me? Dominic and Elijah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Elijah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um so it's not to show how fancy it can be. It's to show how well it can convey the message. All right. So if I use this font, it's not so clear, but if I use back something as simple as Arial, it's clear as soon as you look at it. Right? So these fonts, yeah, let me leave that. So and of course you want to put some color in it. So if that is black, then probably I put this at a different color, probably blue. If I want a logo, probably can let me copy a logo from the internet. Um, cool logos. PNG icons. Superman. She's Superman. Copy image. The good thing about fireworks is that you can copy something directly from the internet and paste it in a document most times. All right. Always, not always best. Like this, for example, if I copied it, you notice there's a checker around it, but you're seeing the checker is a part of the image. But originally the image is a transparent image. So even though I can copy and paste, if I take the time out and downloaded this image, you see the checker right through it. If I took the time out and download it, I'll have to wait to download it. Still waiting to download it.
So you could use the magic one and take out the background.
Yeah, could, but the magic one works when you have a solid color. Right, finally. PNG. I'm going to show you the difference, Dominic. Um, guys, make it a habit to use folders here. So I'm looking for a studio. Here we go. If you don't have our training, good. Training stock. If you have a folder for what you need, create a folder. This is my training folder, and I created a stock folder. So this is called PNG wig, and give it a name. So Superman logo. All right, so now I have my Superman logo. Click this arrow up here, so show in folder. And I have Superman logo. So let me drag this into Fireworks and look at the difference. You see how long that just took me to get the same thing that I got before, but look at the difference. In one case, I have the original without any background, and in the first instance, I have it with the checkered background. In most cases, you won't run into this problem, like the same way in which I got this picture. You remember when I just copied it off the net? I'm gonna go back there. Remember, I just copied it. Right click and copy. But most times it makes sense to go through the ropes and download the thing properly. Right now I have a nice big clean image. So even though it took me time to download it, it's gonna take me less time to clean it up because the first one that I got, and it's bigger too if you notice how big it is. And you want big images because it's better to get a big image and scale it down than to get a small image and scale it up. Right? So let me hide this.
When it's small and you see the pixel not look good.
Yeah, it gets pixelated. I don't know if you guys noticed, but even Jane Doe here, it got pixelated. Let me up this to about 300%. If you notice, it looks pixelated, right? And so let me work. Let me hide this a little. So this is the original Superman. Let me hide it. Click in the eye icon, and this is the original one. If I were to click on the one tool, Dominic, you had asked about it before. Say I click here. Oh, oh wait. So I'll click here again. Oh, say it to work. It had a feather, bro. That's why so much glue is around it. So I use my marquee tool. This is a marquee tool. Click on it and select. Obviously, it's taking me a lot more time. Even though I got it downloaded quickly, it's taking time for me to clean it up. All right, and I don't feel like continuing, but since I started already. All right, there's another tool called a lasso tool. You have the free lasso tool or the polygon lasso tool. So if I were to use the polygon lasso tool, I'm able to click points. Points. All I'm doing is clicking, going to the points and click. And when I go back to the original part, it creates a selection, and I can just press delete on my keyboard and I delete. So it's the same as this marquee tool. It's just that this marquee tool either has a square or an oval. All right. But if I use the lasso tool now, I'm able to go in any direction as long as I don't take up my finger off the mouse. So I can go in any direction at all. Of course, you'll have cases that you'll want it. And as soon as I go to the end, take up my finger, press delete. Oh dear, am I deleting? No, I delete. I'm gonna go again. All right, guys. No bother with this so long. But you get the picture because I have the original one up here, so you can always use. But anyway, I put Superman down here. What's an Jane? What's Superman girlfriend name? Or Louis is Louis on a Jane. But anyway, so I put this here. All right, and it looks different, I believe, than if you only had. Remember, the point I'm trying to make is that apart from just having a plain image, you can put in different lower, you can put in a lower third and it conveys and it looks better. All right. And of course, you can make it fancy. The Superman circle right here, I can change the stroke of the circle. So this line tool down here, so if you notice there's a red stroke around the white, that means it's transparent. So if I select any color on this palette right here, or I can move, let me try, I can move it over the Superman to get the exact color in here. Let me try and zoom up a little. All right, what I just did, I select the circle and go down to this here, and I move the little they call it now suction tool. It looks like a pipette that they use in biology, in chemistry lab. So I move it. As a matter of fact, if I move it over anywhere, if you look down here, you notice the color changes. All right, so I want a red, or I could use a yellow, or suppose I want to fill it yellow. Fill it using the same yellow. Make the stroke. Right now it's at 1 point. Can change it to about 5 or 7 or 8. And let me change the lower third. Change the lower third to, let me give it a stroke as well, or a background. Give it a stroke already. Give it a background of yellow and see how it looks. Let me use the one tool. Take off or lock it. That's another tool, guys. If you look over here and over the layer section, you can lock the layer. A lot of times you want to lock especially the background, or if you have something I don't want anything to shift, you'd lock the background. So once I click on the lock I can select the background as I want. All right, I'm gonna undo that and put it back exactly where I had it. Use the one tool, delete that. Over here again, delete that. And of course, behind there is transparent. So if I want, I could test how a nice background would look behind her. Go to freepick.com times it 455. Where she superhero. Copy this. Copy image.
Superman.
I'm gonna paste it behind.
You know what? Superman.
Zoom, zoom out. Superman days gone. Iron Man and them people, you know. All right, and the good thing about layers is that once you have the layers, you can move the layers.
Yeah,
All right,
you
so
can use that for the background.
yeah, man. That's the aim. That's why I copied it. So have it here, and I can move it. Obviously, I want to move it behind Jane Doe. Right, so probably minimize it. You want the best view, best possible view. Of course, you don't want it to compete against you don't want to compete with her what you call it now. You don't want to compete with her. You don't want to compete with her. Right? So probably I blur it. If I go down to filters at the bottom here, click on filters. It's a blur. So let me use a Gaussian blur. The reason why I use a Gaussian blur as opposed to blur is that once I click on this blur, it will just create a one-time blur, and I can't adjust it. But if I should, let me hide it a little. Click
So
on
it's
the
for the whole picture you blurred.
just the image, yeah, just the picture that I selected under the selection. So the layer here, so anything I select on the layer is what will be affected when I add a filter. All right. So and as you see, I could hide the filter. So let me add a Gaussian blur and look at the difference. I'm going to blur again. More I could actually put more blur and blur and blur and blur. But if I go to Gaussian blur or motion blur, radar blur, or zoom blur, with the check the reason why it has a dot 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 is that it allows me to control how much blur I want. So right now it's saying 4.1. If I move the slider along, I see the preview. All right, so you see I can manipulate it. Once you have, so you have to ensure that you have the preview icon checked. If you don't have a preview icon checked, you won't know. All right, so I click the preview icon, check mark, checkbox, and I can see how it looks. All right, and I want to move it further over. All right, so obviously I don't want to lock this background because I don't want to accidentally click on something and move it out of place. I have to spend time trying to undo. All right, so I always try make it a habit to lock your backgrounds. All right, I just click on the padlock beside it. Obviously, you don't see a padlock.
Yeah, the key.
Hmm? The key, well, the key is to click it again. But this pencil up at the top over here, so this pencil up at the top is, I think that is saying it's writable. Yeah. Instead of putting, I guess I should have put a padlock. But anyway, that's that. Put back a lock on Jane though. So you see, this looks, and I'm gonna do something here, guys. I'm gonna select all the layers that I just worked on. So I could do two things. Since I locked Jane do, I locked this already, I could easily highlight, bring the cursor and select everything here and right click on it. I can group it.
Can merge it.
Yeah. So when I click on group, I have it grouped, right? And obviously if I want to break it up, on right click and select ungroup. Excuse me. So it separates them again. Right? So I'm gonna group it again. And shortcut key is Control G and group it. right? Um, so let me show you the difference between that without it having the lower third and having the lower third. I hope you guys will agree that it looks better with the lower third. Right, so what time is it? 5 o'clock. All right. So that's the beauty of lower third. Professional videos have lower thirds. Can't go around it. Um, what else? I was gonna point out something else. Oh yeah, you were saying, Dominic. Let me undo. Let me ungroup it. If you want to ungroup, Control key, Shift, and G. Let me right click. If I flatten it, once I flatten it, it's almost the same effect as if I grouped it, but it has this advantage. If you notice, I can move it, but I can't unflatten it. I can't undo the flatten. If you notice, undo, there's no option to unflatten it, similar to how I could have ungrouped it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the only way to unflatten something is to undo everything that you did. But of course, it's you don't want to be doing that. So the best thing to do is to group it. One of the advantage of using the flatten tool is if you're doing a graphic and you're working on it with somebody else. So suppose I'm doing this graphic to send to Elijah and expect Elijah to be using it to use the file, not the image now, to use the fireworks file when I save it, for him to use it and manipulate it. Suppose I use a fancy font. Let me look at a font that probably you guys wanna have. Like Avenida Lit. Right? Suppose I use Avenida Lit for physics teacher. If I send this over to you, Dominic, and you don't have Avenida Lit on your computer, when you open this file, Fireworks is gonna ask you if you want to replace the font or use the same font, or use the same, or don't do any changes. If you opt not to do any changes, you can still use it, you can still see it as it is, but as soon as you try to edit this font, it's gonna shift because it can't edit a font that's not on the computer. So obviously there's a workaround. I could send it to you. I could send the file to you and send the font file to you. I could look for the font file Avenida Let and send it to you as well. But the easiest thing, the best thing to do is to flatten it, because once it's flattened, they can't change again. You understand? You understand? You get me? You don't get me? You're online, you're not online. Dominic, Elijah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you just come back. Where
Yes,
Elijah?
sir. Sir, I'm there, sir.
Oh. But
So
yeah,
food boy Elijah go eat all again.
huh?
I say like a food Elijah go eat.
Yes, come back with the mouth full. Just joking. So you guys understand what I just said? The advantage of flattening something. Yeah? No? Maybe so. Hello?
Sir?
Sir, may I hear this, sir? Just
They
cook
respond to me,
on
no bedroom.
understand, sir.
You more know if you're dead or if you're gone eat your
Sir,
Yeah,
I'm
man,
there,
meat.
sir.
sir.
But
Me
there,
not
man.
move,
But
sir.
there, sir.
Alright. But you guys get to my answer so far.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright. So now I am going to, but obviously this is, I think I didn't even check the size of this. Maybe this is the right aspect ratio now, because when I copied it, I'm gonna go back to the browser. When I had copied it, this was taken from an actual program, so maybe it's the right size. So now I can probably highlight this here. Of course, I group it. There's another way to group, guys, and this is kind of cool. But let me just run through it. So I showed you two ways I can group a graphic together. Right now it's separated again. Let me undo. I use Gene. It's alright. Let me use this. Maintain this font. Let me line it up though. Go down to fonts, increase the font.
So something emerge. Physics teacher and gender.
Can you know? But let me show you something. That's another way you can merge. I try to line it up. I'm using a guide, guys, so it's good to use guides. The how I use a guide, I use a ruler. I don't think
And
you're
draw it over.
Yeah, so I don't think your program, when you just install it now, have the ruler say, if you go up to view and click on rulers, then is when you have the rulers. Then this is when you can see it. You can have it and hide it. So I just hide it there. Once I check it, I have the ruler. So I click on the ruler and drag it over. Of course, I want to zoom in because zoom in and bring it close. All right. So it's lined up now. And I'm gonna, while I'm here, let me swap out this S. S I just look off. So let me hide it. Hide, uh, hide this S. Put in this big S. Superman TV. Superman TV. All right. So another way you can group. I don't like this one. It just look off. Change what the font. Change what the font area.
John Doe, maths teacher.
All right. I'm gonna zoom out again to 100%. All right. Another way you can group, guys, is if you to create a. So I'll tell you what. So I select everything again. I right click on it and I create a symbol. Yeah, that's it. So if I create a symbol, or you can press F8. Everything that I'm telling you, of course, you have the shortcut keys beside it. It's good to learn the shortcut keys. So remember I said group, Control G to ungroup, Control Shift G. To convert a symbol, you press F8. Now you have different types of symbols. You have animation or you have button. So lower third, I'm call this lower third. It's good to name what you do working on so that you can identify it when you need it. Okay. If you notice, it looks just like similar to the grouping. However, the advantage of having a symbol is that if I duplicate this, so I should copy and paste, right? And I'm gonna double click the symbol. You can edit the content of the symbol independent of anything, and it opens it up in the right canvas size, and you can work on it by itself. If you look at the top here, in the tab section, you have this is the first tab that we created. This is the original one that we're working on. And it automatically create a third tab with the lower third that we just created. And when you finish, you can click on done when you finish working on it. So if I wanted this to be, if I wanted to change this, the size of this font to because it's a bit big, so change it to about 28. Carry it down a little. If I wanted to change the color to turquoise or ugly blue, and take off the take off the I call it now, the stroke, change that to 0. I can change to 0. Let me hide it by clicking this right here, transparent button. Right. Once I click done, you notice whatever I change on one of the symbol affect both of them. Right. Obviously, this has advantages because I copied the symbol. Anything I change, say if I try to change Jane to John, John, John Doe, math teacher. Whatever I change on one, it affects the other one. Obviously, that has advantages because if suppose I'm trying to create like a design, and in the design you have a lot of different logos around the back. Suppose I had a lot of Superman logos around the back for my design. I could easily suppose I created this in Fireworks, and I wanted to say no, I don't want it to be blue now. I don't want it to be red. I want it to be blue. All I have to do is go ahead and change one of the graphic, one of the symbols to blue. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Suppose I had something like this. Let's see if I demonstrate. Of course, that look crude, but so I have this. Copy one more. Cause I'm creating a background now. Copy that, paste that. Copy all of this. Hold on, in my head. So I'm lock this. Lock this and lock that. Copy that, paste that. Select all of this. And I'm not doing anything yet. Yeah. Did something wrong. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me change this to a symbol. Convert to symbol. So I have to start over. Anyway, S logo. All right, let me do over all of this. Easiest way I can do this now. Copy paste. Copy paste. 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 Copy paste. All right, and then copy everything and group it, right? So I have this grouped. So let me reposition it. Fade it out a little. Down at the bottom here, I'm gonna change the opacity. So I carry the opacity to all the way down there. So, and of course I want to move it to the background. Right? So this is now the background. And what I can do, I can merge it. I don't even have to merge it. I was gonna merge it with the Superman, but let me leave this as is. Suppose I decide that no, I don't want the red. Let me hide one of these. Hide the wrong one. Suppose I said no, I don't want it to be red because red look too ugly. It's grouped, so let me ungroup it. Let me ungroup it. And instead of having to change, let me show you one of the effects. Instead of having to change all of them here, so them over here, so over to the layers. Instead to change all of these, I can just change one. No, I'm gonna double click. Remember, I converted it to a symbol before. Suppose after I finish, I remember that I have this crappy it wasn't cleaned up. It's not the right logo that I use. Or suppose I want to change the logo. Yeah, that a better thing. Suppose I want to change the logo to Flash. I'm doing a comic book series. And instead of Superman, I want to do Twitter. Right? This thing going to take long again. Anyway. So I might be doing a different production, and instead of featuring Superman, I'm doing an interview on this Instagram exec, or it's just a Karis Youth production, and I talk. We're talking about our Instagram page, and obviously I'd want something pertaining to Instagram around the back. So it's gonna really take long. So I want an Instagram background or any other background. So it's taking long. I think the reason why they take long is that they want us to see all their ads on the page. Yes, let me click on it again. All right, so we're gonna change the background. I'm gonna change, I'll see it here now. I'm gonna change this background to an Instagram background. So instead of having to go through everything that I just did, Instagram logo. show in folder. Let me drag this over to fireworks. Or better yet, let me do it another way. So I'm here in the graphic, and I'm gonna do two things. One, I'm gonna clean up part the Instagram for a little bit. I'm gonna clean up this. So what I can do, I can go back into this was a symbol. Where is it? Oh, lock it. Let me go into this symbol here. Copy this logo, Control C. Go into the other symbol. Obviously, I want to paste it at the exact location because to paste it arbitrarily, we're going to throw off the original thing, right? So if I look down at the bottom, down at the properties right here, I say x is at minus 36 and y is at minus 27. I can paste. I'm going to paste this new thing. If you notice it paste out of whack. But I know that I want it to be 36 and 27 negative on both. So I click back on this, negative 36 and negative 27, enter. So that's the original one. This is the old one. I can hide it. Remember, delete at the last stage. Because suppose I did it wrong. I want to be able to go back to it. I'm done. I'm gonna go back to the original. You see the background cleanup, right? And it's cleaned up on all of the the background, right? But let me change it instead of having the Superman. Let me change it to Instagram now. I'm gonna do another method too. I'm gonna use guides this time. Use back my guide. All right. I'm going to file, import. There's another way you can import an image. And what I was saying, guys, always use folders. Make it a habit to use folders. Because right now I know exactly where I just created the folder. So I'll go to so I know I had it in Dropbox, in Studio. Studio started with S, right? Studio, Hillside Studio, training, stock, Instagram. And as we did yesterday, let me zoom it up a little so I see exactly what I'm doing. I can just click right at this very axis right here where both of them line up until I get the right shape. Right, carry it all the way over. Maybe I'm gonna have to make it smaller. So let me hide the Superman first, go back to the original and say instantly change. All right, and it can work. It's not perfectly aligned, but just a demo. All right. So you see right away how the symbols help as opposed to grouping. Because if I grouped it, I'd have to repeat the grouping. None of the other tools that you use to group are not as dynamic as the symbol tool. Right, so I go back to it. I say, okay, it's all right. And then now I can go ahead and delete these. Click on that one, delete it. Click on that one and delete it. Click on done because I'm done with that. All right, and I'm done with this too. Done. And I can go ahead and regroup. Let me take this off back. Let me lock that. Can go ahead, select everything here and group it again. And if I wanted, I could add a, oh yeah, change the opacity now. Change it to 27, 28. All right. So you see how dynamic the symbol tool is. So now, last thing now is we're gonna insert this into OpenShot. All right, we're gonna insert it into OpenShot. So hold on, somebody just send me a WhatsApp message. So open WhatsApp already. I'm going to have, all right, let me try to lock this. Let me unlock it. Let me change. I don't like that ugly color. Change it back to something clear. Remember, guys, not fancy. When you're doing videos, it's not about fancy. And even if it's fancy, it has to be clear. The number one objective is to have it to be clear. Number two objective is the fanciness, but number one objective is clarity. So that can work. All right, so I'm gonna change that. So I'm gonna have that here. So click on this, copy it. I'm gonna make sure that it's the right size because even though I got that off the internet, I have no guarantee. So this is my original canvas. So I'm gonna paste it on it. If you notice, it's way smaller. Right. So the good thing about Fireworks is that this is a vector-based program. So I can always scale this up. Right. So I know that at least this now, if you notice two things, let me zoom in a little to show you something. If you notice, the graphics are crisp still, but the image is a bit distorted. Right. I can do something to fix it because remember I downloaded original Superman logo. So I can always go back because this is still a symbol, you know. And it's a symbol in another canvas, in another document. So whatever I change on this one will not affect what is over here. Because it's like I created a duplicate of the symbol. All right. So let me go over. So I can always double click on this. And I want to change this. So I want going for the original one now. Import. And I want to change the original. All right. So let me delete that one. Use this one. Close it. And look the same way. Phew. What do you know? Let me try it again. Import. Or I deleted the wrong one. Import. All right, let me try it this way. The reason why I click on it, I wanted to see how big it really is or how distorted. And it's not distorted. So I'm going to go back in here. Let me try it again. Cut this. Go back in here. So I wonder. Let me try something. Let me distort that. Done. Go back to the original. Okay, see it's different. So I changed the symbol and it didn't affect the original one. I was wondering why it is that this thing. Oh, right. Maybe that's why it looks distorted. Change that back to John Doe. Oh, Jane Doe. Still look distorted, but I'm zoomed in a lot, so let me zoom out. Not sure why it's still distorted. But it doesn't look too bad. So let me make sure that I bring it all the way to the end. And now I'm going to, next step is to save it. All right. So I'm gonna insert it in OpenShot. I have OpenShot opened already. It's a sample video. I don't think anybody have this. I think oh yeah, Johnny has this video working on. So I'm gonna save this graphic, but of course I don't want it to have a white background. So I'm going to give the canvas no background, transparent canvas. All right. Remember the checker marks, what it means. It is still a bit translucent. If you look closely, you can see a bit through it. You can see through it a little. But let us give it more translucence. Let's make it a bit more translucent. Go back in the graphic and change this to probably 80. All right, done. Should just copy back Jane and test it. I'm gonna copy this. The reason I'm copying the picture is that, and I could do it with Pastor Helen's image too. All right, let me do it that way. Let me go in open shot. All right, let me explain what I'm doing. I want to put a picture. I could use this picture that I have here and test it. And test the lower third. Could always do this and check it. Let me put it below it. And test to see how it looks, right? But the best way to test it is to test it against the original. So I could go into OpenShot, or I could go to the original video. Let me go to the original video, and I'm gonna do I'm gonna go that route. What I'm saying, I could have created a screenshot of the original video, or in OpenShot, there's an icon right here, save current frame. When you click on this camera icon over here, it creates a picture of the. It's not even. Let me say it one way and then correct myself. I was gonna say it creates a picture of the current frame, but really and truly, because a video is really moving images or moving pictures, what it does, it just make a copy of that current frame. All right. I hope you understand the difference. So it's not a picture. It's not like a screenshot. Because what we're looking at now, we might say is the video paused. What really and truly is a picture is just that you have many pictures. Because all right, look, you have many pictures in a video. Look at the very top of the screen in OpenShot. If you can see it right here, you have HD 720p. Right, that means that the height here is 720 pixels. But when you look at this, it says 30 FPS. FPS means frames per second. So in every second of this video, you have 30 frames or 30 different pictures that are what do you call it now, lined up in that second. Obviously, because it's a moving picture, not every picture is going to be the same. So you have one picture with the eye this open, another picture with it open a little bit more. You understand? And that is how we get a video. It's
Yes,
really
sir.
pictures.
What if it's the same picture?
If it's the same picture, you're gonna have a still. No, you have a lot of sameness in pictures, you know. For example, if you look at this frame right here, if you look at the background, and Elijah would know this, that this TV doesn't change. Or suppose Pastor Kellen goes off video, then whatever you're looking at, nothing is changing. So all of those individual pictures, all of those frames will be the exact same. You understand? But once something is alive in motion, it's always changing. Even if you try to be still, your heart a beat, your eye might blink one time, a mosquito come and pass you, and the camera pick it up. All sort of things can happen. Breeze a blow your hair. You understand? But really and truly, in effect, that's what happens. And excuse me, how you get videos. I don't remember who I was talking to, and you hear the term motion picture, right? I think it was yesterday we were discussing it. And motion picture really means pictures in motion. So it's really to create a video is really an illusion, right? An illusion by taking multiple pictures, 30 pictures for every second. So for every second that I'm talking right now, and I'm recording this, for every second that I'm talking, we've been on this Zoom call, the computer or the camera is taking 30 seconds, 30 pictures in that 1 second, combining everything, of course, and you create a video. So at the end of the day, videography is really an extension of photography. Okay, everything starts with a photo, right? So I could go back in this somewhere along this timeline here. The reason why I moved on is because if you notice, the first part was a bit dark. All right, so anywhere on the video will do, because I just want to compare my lower third to the video that we're going to work on. All right, so I click on this little icon, camera icon over here, so, and it saves it. So of course I can give it a name, sample frame evangelism. Guys, take time and name your folders, take time and name your files, because when you have a whole heap of files, you want to be able to find it quickly. So I have it in already have it in the training folder, OpenShot test. So I know I can save that. All right, and since I have that now, I'll go back to fireworks and I'm going to insert it. File, import, go up a notch, OpenShot test. I have it right here. I don't know how big it is. Let me click and see how big it is. Obviously, even though it look big in OpenShot, look a bit big in OpenShot. Remember, in OpenShot it is 720p, right? That means that the height is 720 pixels. See it down here, so when you go down here, so down at the properties, down at the bottom here, the height is 720, width 1280, right? So the height is 720. That's why it's smaller, but it's at the same aspect ratio as the original file. So I line it up to the original point. Let me go 0, change that to 0, x to 0, y to 0. Right? So it's at the original point. Click on my, what is tool name again? Scale tool, and I'm going to scale it. You see it's scale exact because it's at the right aspect ratio. Smaller in size, but at the same aspect ratio. All right, so I'm going to put this to the back. I don't need the original gene though again. And then I can go and work with it, right? So I have two things I'm seeing from this. One, the original video, if you notice, her position or her head is a bit off the top of the frame. So in doing the lower third, I have two options. One, I can adjust my lower third to fit her frame, because you can't change the video, you know. You can adjust it to bring it higher, but obviously if you bring this higher, you're gonna lose the bottom part. All right, you're gonna lose the bottom part, and it fits better because this fits better than how it was before. I'm just copying it to create a duplicate and show you the difference. So this is how it looked originally, and this is the adjustment. So if I'm creating my lower third and I make it perfect like this, I have to acknowledge the fact that I changed the original orientation of the video. Orientation mean how things are arranged in the original video, which I can't do because I can't go back 1 month, 5 days previously and say redo this video. I can't do that. So I have two options. I can either figure out a way to adjust the image in OpenShot, elevate it a little, but if I elevate it a little, the bottom will be lost as well. So then you see the advantage of having the original picture when I'm creating my my lower third, because the best thing to do is if I'm gonna elevate this a little, which I can do. Excuse me, somebody calling me. Hello?
Sir,
Yes?
you got the change of plans?
Yeah, man, I got it. I'm in a meeting. That's why I didn't respond to you, alright?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so 6 o'clock then.
Later.
Yeah, man, cool. Alright. Alright, so where was I? If I'm going to adjust, if I want this orientation looks better than the previous one, right? Than the, where's the previous? Oh, adjust the previous one. but I'd have to find a way to, in OpenShot, elevate it, raise this image higher, which I can do because once I click on it, I will probably not get the time to go through this today. But I can always raise it. Yeah, Dominic.
Sir,
Yeah,
I'm talking to meet now finish.
I finish. My wrap up now.
Alright, because the laptop, we can't turn a mic or nothing. We can't even come off a Zoom. I don't know why.
Oh, but you
First
can't.
I see something, so.
Okay, all right.
But we can't hear you though.
All right, good. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up in 5 minutes. All right.
Alright, sir.
All right, cool. All right. Dominic, laptop malfunction. So the best. Oh, let me not even do the alternative because I can always elevate this image, this picture in OpenShot. Let me just do it and show you. So if I use the location XY, I can always. Oh, I move the wrong one. That is the X. I want to move the Y. I can always raise her up. Right? Hold on. Yeah, Dominic.
Sir, still in a meeting?
Yeah.
Come on, meeting up the car, I never see a talk or nothing. Just here, still in one place.
Okay. It look like the computer freeze fully then.
Same thing, me wonder. But the mouse I moved though.
Okay, but I'm looking at. Are you not seeing me still? Cause I'm doing an OpenShot right now.
Yes, I'm seeing that open shot, but me I say me not hear a talk or nothing.
Okay.
Just say freeze.
Okay. Okay. I don't know him because I'm seeing Elijah. You seen my picture?
Yes,
Elijah.
sir.
Oh, Elijah see Dominic. So I don't know. But I'm recording it, you know. So afterwards, you can just skip to this last part and watch the last part. All right.
Alright, sir.
All right. But
I
all right.
restart the computer.
All right. Just keep the line open then. All right. And while you look, you cannot hear at the same time. All right. When I say keep the WhatsApp, nobody hang up. Oh, you hearing me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what I'm saying, I could in OpenShot, I could change the location property. I think I have feedback. I could change the location property and or elevate the video. But to do that with the entire video, suppose in the middle of the video, she change position. Right? It might be a bit complicated. So it's always best not to manipulate the original video. If you create a lower third, create a lower third to compensate for the video. Right? So let me go back to fireworks. And if I elevate her like this, which might be the best option in this case for real, I can't make this translucent anymore. I can't make this translucent, so I'm gonna have to make it solid.
So if you like elevate the video and use it the third, so
Lower third, yeah.
if you use the lower third, you could make it opaque and just don't necessarily show.
Yeah, is that Magado? Is that Magado? Dominic was asking Elijah if I'm going to use a lower third. If I could just nobody make this make this what you call it, no, opaque, yeah. Because if I make it transparent, it's going to be a black background. Look back on OpenShot. It's going to be black, so might as well just do it from fireworks. So instead of giving it a bit of opacity, I just change it back to 100%. Says solid, and go back to the original. So I have it solid. So I know that in OpenShot, I'm gonna have to elevate this picture, and it's something that Jenny will have to do because she has this video working on. All right, so I'm working with this. So now I can hide. I'll have to hide this video, this picture, and I'm gonna save the image now. So I'm gonna have to crop it. I have two options: whether to crop the entire thing or to use the export area tool. The export area tool will define where I want to export. So I'm gonna select the area that I want. Press enter. And I have to ensure that it's saved as a PNG because PNG allows me transparency. If I change it as JPEG, let me look at it. Where's the preview now? I'll bring on a preview later. If I save it as JPEG, JPEG doesn't have transparency. So everywhere that's transparent, I save it as white. Let me change it to PNG 32. If you notice, it has the checkers. That means it will be transparent. All right, click on export now. And I don't have to worry about the size because I already fit it to the original size. So I'm use the go back to the original folder. As I say, guys, use your folders, give your folders name so that you know exactly where to look when you need it. It might take longer, but you won't get mixed up. So now it's in Hillside Studio, then a training, open shot test, lower third. Lower third, just lower third sample. Sample one, export. All right, so in open shot now, final thing, 541. I'm going to import it. So I'm in OpenShot already. File.
So,
Im
it opened up right now, so now we just use Zoom.
okay. All right, cool. So remember again, guys, use the folders. Go down to Studio. Hillside Studio. When you have as many files as me, guys, you have to. It definitely helps to know where your files are. All right. Lower third sample one. Says imported. No, it's project files, and where you have the tab called project files, click on it. And now I can take it and drag it down. Obviously, it's not coming up. Let me go back to video preview because it's behind. So I have to put it to a layer, a track at the top. If you notice, this has tracks. Fireworks has layers. Same concept. Similar to how I can move the layers around in Fireworks, is the same way I can deal with the tracks in OpenShot. The concepts are the same. In other software you use like Photoshop and so on, Photoshop has layers, other things have tracks. It's the same concept. If you're working with audio, it's the same thing, same concept. All right, so once I put it at a track above, I have it there. So all I have to do now, if you notice the size is perfect, because we took the time out to create the perfect size in Fireworks. So all I have to do is this lower third now, make sure that I click on it. And the location XY, I want location Y, just click on the mouse right here, so in this 0, 0, and I want to increase it, right? So carry it all the way down to the bottom, all the way down to the bottom. I want to bring it a little bit more, so I can double click and change this to about 4. Too far. It was at 34 before, so change it to about 30.36. All right, so hold on, just 1 point. That's it. All right, so obviously I'll have to bring the actual footage a little lower. I changed the y value before, so bring it down to about, bring it down a little, 0.68, negative 0.6, negative 0.68, negative 0.68. All right, so we have a lower third. So let's problem. All right, it created an animation. So it created an animation. Oh, can delete that. So that's it. Avalo third. And Pastor Helen is officially, well, not officially, part of the Superman Club.
Jane Doe.
She's not gonna tell her that. All right, guys. So that's the end of our session today. Obviously, the emphasis was on fireworks, and we see how we can insert the stuff into open shots. Now I'm gonna share videos in the WhatsApp group, and you have the internet and your leisure. Use it. Use YouTube to watch the tutorials and stop watching a whole heap of movies and learn the stuff. All right, Dominic. All right, Elijah.
Yes, sir.
All right. God bless. That's the end of that. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool.